Hi everyone, it's Ruby G. Welcome to Truth and Neurons. Today we're going to be talking about the evidence that was left behind and the reputation that wasn't allowed to bleed. We've been told that this is a simple case, that the evidence is clear, that the motive, the timeline, the weapon all point in one direction. But the deeper you go, the more obvious it becomes. This wasn't a full investigation. This was a narrative construction, and there's a body of evidence to prove it, some of it quite literally. Let's begin just outside the official crime scene, just around the corner on Queen Road, where Officer Brett Payne documented something both damning and neglected. In the report, he describes the door of a nearby apartment as having a red-brown substance located on the lower portion, and adds that the substance was flaking and appeared to be dry. Importantly, he notes that this substance was similar in appearance and texture to the blood located inside of 1122 King Road. This wasn't an anonymous tip or a Reddit rumour. This was recorded by the lead officer, a possible blood trail matching the texture and dryness of the crime scene blood, found a short walk from where the victims were murdered. And what did police do? They took a photo, then walked away. No lab test, no forensic analysis. The stain remained unexamined and unexplained. Now, from a forensic standpoint, that's more than just negligence. That's case-breaking material, a possible sign of a wounded suspect fleeing or an accomplice entering another apartment to clean up or change clothes. It's the kind of evidence that expands the crime scene, that complicates the timeline, that introduces new suspects. But instead of chasing that evidence, the investigation narrowed dramatically. Everything began pointing to one person, Brian Kohberger, a criminology PhD student, a social outsider, someone with a white elantra, someone who fit the story. And here's where we need to talk about the context no one wants to touch, the University of Idaho. Because when 4 students are murdered during a high-profile campus week, and the eyes of the nation are watching, the pressure to solve the case isn't just forensic, it's political, it's institutional, it's economic. University funding, enrollment, public trust, these things don't survive a narrative of random, ongoing violence. They don't survive a suggestion of cartel involvement or sexual motive or a killer who wasn't caught. So a message was sent early that this was targeted and isolated, despite what the evidence actually suggested. We saw this again in the video evidence timeline. The vehicle that may have left the murder scene wasn't matched to Kohberger's Elantra. It was fast, it was untagged, it left no footprint, and it might have carried the real perpetrators away. Yet again, no follow-up, no definitive ID, just silence. Meanwhile, a witness report seeing Madison Mogan and Kaylee Goncalves being followed by a male on the night of the murders, someone who wasn't recognised by their close friends and wasn't part of their group. He's seen again in the grub truck Twitch footage, no questioning, no forensic vetting. He simply disappears. So we return to the bigger picture. When institutions feel threatened, they prioritise their own preservation. We see this across case studies in forensic psychology, what we call institutional preservation bias. Evidence gets filtered, leads are downplayed, the narrative gets neat. Brian Kohberger was a convenient villain, socially odd, academically immersed in crime, alone, from out of state, not tied to donors, Greek life, or faculty. The university could hold a vigil, the prosecutor could make a statement, and the world could move on. But justice cannot move on from what wasn't investigated. If there was blood on Queen Road, and it didn't come from Brian Kohberger, someone else was wounded that night. If there was a vehicle speeding away at 4:20 a.m. that didn't belong to him, someone else fled. If there was witnesses pointing to suspicious men and no follow-up occurred, then the story we've been told is not the story that happened. This is not speculation. This is documented. It's in the supplemental reports. And it's in the silence that follows every lead that doesn't fit. When we talk about justice, we can't just talk about guilt. We have to talk about who gets protected and who gets ignored. Because if this crime scene extended past 1122 King Road, then so does the responsibility to tell the truth. That's all for today's episode of Truth and Neurons. If you found this analysis helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment below with your thoughts on the ethics of media commentary in high-profile cases. Until next time, keep thinking critically and questioning everything. Cheers, bye.